Welcome back. Make time for what matters, work life fulfillment through prioritizing needs. Got a special presentation for you today. Today's session: work and life are not a seesaw of balancing opposites. They are just two of many ways to meet your needs so you can survive and thrive in your environment. It's time to align your day to day with your major values. In this session, get some clarity on what the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams looks like, then build your lifestyle around that vision so you have the confidence to go after your health and business goals. This is a little presentation I gave at the American Medical Writers Association annual conference a couple weeks ago in Baltimore. So I wanted to make sure I presented this for people who weren't able to make it to that conference, and you can catch up with some things that can really help you take ownership of your path to freedom and fitness. Okay, so what's different about this presentation? It's not an organization management based presentation. There were some of those previously where they were talking about different groups and how you can help your staff works better. This is more for the self directed leader, freelancer, entrepreneur, or busy parent. Something else is different. This is not emergency tactics like count backwards from 10 and breathe deeply. We all know those basic things about take a deep breath and relax and all that stuff. This is going to give you a little bit more action and a better way to approach your stress management. And third thing that's different is I'm not loading this with stats and tables. A lot of the Medical Writing Association conference can get loaded up with stats and figures. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make it easy for you to take action, because what was happening at the conference, I've been giving this presentation at the Medical Writers Conference or health related presentations for about the last 6 years straight. So it's a hot streak, and it's cool that I'm glad to have me there. This is where Fit for Freelance started. The thing is, people were telling me that they feel motivated after my presentations, but they don't take action, which at first is discouraging. But then when you look at that, that means they're engaging when they continue coming to my talks, and they just need a little push. So I was able to adapt my presentation on the last day of the conference to make it specific to conversations that I heard during the sessions. So hopefully you'll hear something that you might be thinking when you watch my channel here on YouTube. Click like and subscribe if you don't already know what's going on here. And then also link below on YouTube, I've got the burnout assessment test. This is the kind of giveaway I gave at the conference. So you can download that. That's got a way to assess your stress and measure it objectively with 33 ways to look at it. And then you can start to track it and measure it and change it so you can start leading the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams. All right, so something that comes with the session, I always want to be intentional with what we're doing and have you consider what you want from the session for yourself. So I went over the objectives. That's what was in the conference program. We want to make sure that when you watch something online, especially when it comes to your health and business goals, you want to be clear about what you want from it. So when I talk about making time for what matters, work-life fulfillment through prioritizing needs, what kind of information are you looking for? You can leave a comment or you can talk. I am live right now, and you might be catching a recording, but I will get back to you if you're interested. The two major things I want you to get from this presentation: one, increase the awareness of the levels of stress and self-neglect that you've been comfortable with. And two, get you to identify a clear action item, a clear action objective that you will take before Sunday at 7 p.m. Now, I gave this session on a Saturday morning, so I gave them until the following Sunday, but this is just one way. Don't just watch this and not do anything. Pick something to do and then actually do it and follow through and see how you're doing. We were actually able to get a lot of engagement from the audience that was live there, and then a lot of people following through on the actions they took. So I would say it was an effective presentation. All right. One question to think about: who has and uses the worksite wellness programs for work? So think about this. If you work full-time somewhere else, do you have an employee assistance program? Do you have a worksite wellness program manager? Because the top companies around the country are using this to help entice and retain their best staff. Having a worksite wellness initiative, programming, having someone consider the wellness that can boost your quality of life. I've talked about this in other presentations. So just getting people to consider the freelancers, the self-employed entrepreneurs, maybe they don't have someone who is keeping an eye on their wellness and health. And that's what I do here at Fit for Freelance. And then what challenges do you have in your health and business goals? You can leave a comment. Just think about that for a second. So a lot of what I was hearing during the week of the conference, people were saying they were unsure why they couldn't start. They have good intentions, but need a tap on the shoulder to stay accountable. They find themselves over volunteering or have a hard time saying no to people or expanding contracts or people they're working with, or they get burnt out fixing the burnout of others when you are overcompensating, you're trying to keep up with other people. And what a lot of times people end up saying is, if I can just get this behind me, I'll be okay. And I had people, the audience kind of chuckle at this because this is a common refrain among freelancers and entrepreneurs is that you always think that there's only one more little phase to happen and then you'll be okay. Like this is just a little hard part. And then after this, I'm in the clear. But the thing is, something else comes up and then you're always kind of chasing that next step of something else that needs to be done. So click like if that's something you can relate to because you're not the only one facing that challenge. Let's look at this. So then other things they would end up saying, I leave conference feeling motivated, but when I get home, I just go by the wayside or some other thing, or I've been coming to your sessions for years, but haven't made any changes yet. And this is similar for you. If you're one of my subscribers, appreciate you rocking with me. But if you haven't been taking action from my videos, I want you to take action. This is me making health an engaging part of your experience, right? That's the mission of Fit for Freelance. So make sure that you're taking action and then recognize if you're not the only one, if you haven't yet. I was able to play this clip for Wedding Crashers, the mediation scene at the beginning. Great opening scene. I'm not able to play that on YouTube because I will get copyright strike. It is linked below, but this is where the couple is arguing back and forth, and it seems like it's going really poorly. And Owen Wilson's character says, it might not seem like it, but we're making progress. And really, as long as you're engaged in the health process, if you're taking in information, that is better than doing nothing at all. And over time, you will eventually take action, hopefully starting today. Here's my mission: make health an engaging part of the entrepreneur's journey by inspiring confident ownership of your path to freedom and fitness. A little bit about me. So my name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance. I build adaptive business leaders through compassionate health coaching. I've got all kinds of degrees and stuff. So nutrition, medical sciences. I got a graduate certificate in positive behavior support. So I'm really looking at ways to create systems and help people understand how their health supports their life. All right, public health nutrition educator, positive behavior support, freelance medical writing, personal training. And then I joined the Medical Writers Association, where I realized I had a lot of colleagues who have no conception of wellness. These are the desk-bound entrepreneurs, people who are typing all day. They don't stand up enough. Over time, they have back pain, shoulder pain, different kinds of pains, and it's affecting their productivity, focus, health, chronic disease risk of premature death, and quality of life overall, right? As your work spills into your like personal life because you don't have the focus that you need to get your job done. So it's a lot of things here, but that's an overview. And I started fitforfreelance.com to overcome some of that. Here's a list of some of the presentations I've given at the American Medical Writers Association conferences. I was a former chapter president. So if you have any questions about medical writing as a career field or something that you're interested in, I'd love to talk about that. But as you see, lots of stress management, health habits, re-inspiring your business, taking your business seriously. All these things add up to quality of life measures. And what will happen is a lot of times people think that, weight gain is just something that is an inconvenient thing, but it's more about a combination of a lot of other factors about schedule management, stress management that kind of flows into weight gain overall. So that's what these presentations have been about. And overall, my vision for Fit for Freelance, every entrepreneur knows how to lead the healthy, fulfilling life of their dreams. So like every presentation I give, I talk about what does the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams look like? What is that? What do you want? And be specific for yourself and what that means for you. So it's not just about what I think or what I've studied or what I know about health science. It's more about what you want for yourself and then how your health supports that, how you have more energy, more confidence, better circulation, better focus when you're exercising, eating right, managing your schedule effectively, etc. All right. And overall, this is a tagline. You'll hear me say this several times. We want to build adaptive business leaders through compassionate health coaching. So this session today is for you if you have too much going on to focus on your health, you hate feeling mentally weak from forcing all or nothing diets, you want to work or lose weight in order to feel confidence and self-love. A lot of people doing this backwards. And then recognize choices about health, stability, good habits are as important as your desk work for your business and your business outcomes and your revenue. So if you're starting to feel old, achy, a little energy, you're tired, stressed out, you're so focused on where you want to go that you're not approaching appreciating where you are now, and you want to let your health support your life so you have more energy to enjoy life and family time, right? If you're always working late, or you can't do anything because you have all kinds of work schedule complications from not being able to focus correctly, then this session will help you out. And that's what I do. Guilt free, of course. So a lot of times people will find these weight loss channels, or um, decide they need to make change because they feel bad about themselves or something that's going on in their lives. That's not how I operate. Everything I do is built on the guilt-free framework, the guilt-free game plan, the guilt-free process to help you feel empowered, and you can take ownership of what you want to do. So don't feel guilty. Here's a quick picture overview of the guilt-free framework. We build confidence, realistic focus, and accountability so you can take confident ownership of your path. If you only have two of these, you're going to struggle in a few ways, probably, where you won't know that you can do it. You don't know if you can follow up on your own plans for yourself. That's low confidence. Or if you don't have realistic focus, like your New Year's resolutions or something like that, where it's just some kind of unrealistic goal, then you're going to have a hard time. You're going to get stuck. Or if you don't have accountability or a process for ownership. So if you don't have that yet, or if you don't have someone you're reporting to or sharing or tracking progress or participating with, then you can say you're going to do something, but there's nothing holding you accountable to that. There's no investment, no like risk, no teeth to the policy. Is something that I say sometimes, where you want to make sure you have a process for ownership. So this is an overview of the guilt-free framework. I talk about this. All my content is based on this framework. Don't let this be a presentation where you learn but you don't apply. Please. Like I got a little frustrated when I heard someone say that, and then a bunch of other people are like, "Oh yeah, same here." It's just like, well, come on, like you can do this. Let me give you some steps. There's also the host of the Unbiased Science podcast. They won an award for their expertise in medical communications. And they said science is not complete until it's communicated. And that's a point that I like to drive home with my experience in public health and health coaching, health behavior stuff, is that it's not just about knowing what to do, right? That is a big part of it. If you have no idea what healthy eating is, which is kind of hard to figure out on your own these days anyway, but even if you know exactly what you should eat, there's a difference between knowing that and actually being able to apply it to your life. And that's a big thing with medical writing in general, is having you understand that you have to communicate these ideas and then implement them effectively so they fit into what you want to do for yourself. And here's a little bit about the guilt-free process: vision, focus, and practice. I won't go too far into it, but basically it's about looking at the bigger picture, adding context to your health goals, then breaking it down into parts that you can focus on with realistic focus, and then creating a sustainable practice where you execute and adapt in cycles, and you celebrate your ongoing success and progress to that. Something I was able to do was bring this case study. This is what I gave at the presentation last year, talking about what happens when you apply a guilt-free process to better health outcomes. So we actually found a study, an article on a burnout assessment tool. And then I created a tool that's linked below with a spreadsheet that makes it super easy to use the tool. And you can assess your burnout, and you get a number based on like 1 to 5, I think. And this is one of my clients who was burnt out when she came to me, and we found a tool, made it, and used it to improve her whole quality of life. She was lost, but now she's found. And so we decreased her burnout from 2.69 a week 2 to 1.74 in just 6 weeks. So she went from risk of burnout to feeling pretty good, increased her present self score, energy self score, and daily steps, as well as decreased her waist measurement and went down 2 waist sizes. And we also tracked her highlights and accomplishments. She had 142 really good things happening. And so this is a big part of the practice, is learning how to track and measure the success in the terms you want. So this, you might notice, this is different from what most health coaches would give you in terms of like just workout sessions and this is what you need to do, sets and reps. This is more about what Lindsay wanted specifically for herself. And then we created ways to measure that so she can track it over time and improve it. So it was a great case study. There's a link to that in the description below as well on YouTube. But it doesn't stop there. She says some of her biggest accomplishments is recognize that prioritizing my health was needed, and it's really important to me. It felt like something was missing, and I didn't hesitate to look for help. I really put the work into my mindset and felt contentment and gratitude in a way I have never seen them before, which I deserve because I'm incredibly adaptable and resilient. And physically and mentally, I feel good and I'm in a better place. I started this process feeling old and unable to invest the time and energy into health and fitness. Now I'm investing in that area and it's coming naturally. So those are big benefits of a guilt-free process. And the testimonial really speaks for itself. So after we looked at the vision that we had, we dial it into the focus, setting the right targets. This is objectives, kind of like those SMART goals, schedule training and follow up, and then simplify it. Make it easy for you to do things. So if you have a list of things that you intended to do, but it's too hard or it's too many things, then you're not going to do it. You're going to get stuck. You're going to feel frustrated and it's going to stress you out even more. So don't do that. Use realistic focus with the process that works. I can guide you through one. Let me know. So this is the focus for this presentation. I want you to do this on YouTube or wherever you're watching this online. Write this down somewhere. I will blank at least once before Sunday, 7 p.m. So that could be meal prep. That could be go for more walks, go for a walk, go to the gym, sign up for the gym, uh, get a planner, get a new planner. Like there's tons of things you can do. Just make sure that you write an action by 7 p.m. and you take that action. You can leave that in the comments below for a little extra accountability to follow up with yourself. Next is practice. So once you have those other steps, look at the progress, celebrating ongoing success, and execution is a big part. So it's not just about planning and having an idea. You actually have to do the thing that you plan to do. It's kind of like any sports competition where you have a whole game plan. You can draw all the X's and O's and then look on video and practice and install plays. But if you don't execute when it's time to do the thing, then you're not doing anything. So execution is crucial, and then adapting. So people get stuck. It's very easy to get stuck when things go wrong, as they sometimes will. You have to be able to adapt using your awareness and feedback to understand what happened, what contributed to the outcomes, and make the changes that are appropriate so you can make sure you stick with those plans. So this is a big part of the practice I'm talking about. So when you actually practice, then you go beyond just the typical rowdy hype coaching thing. It's not just about feeling motivated. It's about actually doing things, or, you'll actually make the changes that you need to make. Right. You get that. So, reasons to take care of your health, there are several of them. I talk about them all the time on YouTube. If you are struggling with burnout or making time for what matters, or if you don't have a fulfilling life, you feel like every day is Groundhog Day. Some people say that. Or if you're gaining weight, or if you don't know what to do, you want to understand how your body works better so you can work more efficiently. Or if you get a test result from your doctor, blood work, or something that says you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure and you want to lower those, get those. Those are all really fantastic reasons to take care of your health. And when we talk about this guilt-free process, it's kind of like that Simon Sinek start with why conversation, knowing why you're doing it. So people get stuck. It's very easy. You might get stuck if you are only focused on tasks that you need to do. So if you're like, I'm just going to cut out all sugar, right? That's a what thing, but then how do you do that is a big part of it. And then knowing why you're going to do that. So that's what we keep going back to. What does a healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams look like? If that is, being more mobile, spending more time with friends and family, not having high cholesterol, high blood pressure, then those are good reasons. So we want to look at that why more so you understand how that process fits in, and then you can have those results that you're looking for. So this is similar to a be, do, have framework where you're just looking at why, and that's the most important part, or a key factor. They're all important, but if you don't have the why, then you're stuck. All right, and this is based on a video that I did in a very similar looking outfit. 4 factors that tell when you're actually ready to lose weight. I put a link in the description below. I'll give you a quick summary in this presentation because this is what I did at conference. All right, this is based on the American Council on Exercise Senior Fitness Model of Change. It's a health belief model. Well, it's in several documents, but this is where I learned it earlier this year. So the things that contribute to a decision to change: perceived susceptibility, perceived seriousness, contribute to a health threat, and that can cause you to change, or benefits and barriers to your health behaviors can affect whether you change. All right, I'm going to break this down a little bit more. So perceived susceptibility is how likely you are, or how likely you think you are to have a problem, a health risk, a concern. And that plays into if you consider it a health threat. Similarly, perceived seriousness, how big or urgent or important or deadly is this for it to be considered a health threat? All right. So if you have like no perceived susceptibility, it's like one of those things where you don't think it can happen to you at all. And this happens kind of with the freelancers where they don't understand that the choices that they're making will contribute to their outcomes later in life. So if you sit all day for like 20 years working on a computer, eventually you're going to have some mobility issues from that. You're going to have back pain, sciatica, that steering leg pain, those kinds of things. But they might not realize that in terms of susceptibility. So if your susceptibility is zero, you think you're just cruising through and everything's perfect, then you're not likely to make any changes. Or perceived seriousness, you might think like, oh yeah, I might just have 5 extra pounds, so it's no big deal. But those 5 pounds add up over and over again to where now you're 25 pounds overweight with high blood pressure. That's when your health risk, your health threat is higher. And then it's a more serious and urgent situation, right? You might have an increased risk of heart attack or stroke at that point. So those are those elements. And on the bottom half of this chart, you got the benefits and the barriers that contribute to health behavior or keep you from adjusting those health behaviors. So in terms of benefits, um, what good do you get out of it, right? So sometimes the if you exercise and you start to feel better, then that becomes a benefit for that. Or if you meal prep in advance and you have healthy foods that are delicious and ready to go, then that's a benefit of that health behavior. Barriers to change can be anything from just not wanting to change, inertia, routine habits, the things that you've gotten really comfortable doing. Those are potential benefits or barriers to change. Other barriers to change, um, you don't know what to cook. You don't have a recipe guide. I have a link below on YouTube for that. But different things can get in the way if you don't have a friend at the gym, you don't have support, you need a coach, all kinds of questions come up, and those things can impact whether you change your health. Also, your environment can be a thing. If you want to ride your bike more, but the cars are going 45 miles an hour outside of your place and you don't have a bike path or a bike lane, then that becomes a barrier for that. And so that in terms of my public health experience, understanding that the barriers can be environmental, access to care, cost of care, those kinds of things can keep you from not accessing the tools you need to modify your behavior. And that can affect your decision to change and your health outcomes. So I'm not blind to that. I want to keep that in the context of the pictures. Your environment can have a huge impact on whether you change your health. So a quick overview of these things adding up to your decision to change, where one event can really change everything for you in terms of your health threat. Things are going status quo. You're chilling. You think your life's good. And like life is good and whatever, but then you go to the doctor and your doctor says, hey, you've got prediabetes, you need to make some changes now, or we're gonna have to put you on insulin or one of these medications. You're gonna have to be doing daily or weekly injections. So like those kinds of things happen. What I want to do with this presentation is make sure that people have an understanding that these health behaviors add up, increase your awareness of the levels of stress and self-neglect that you've been comfortable with. Because if you don't have any challenges, then you don't think you need to change, right? But you might need to change sooner you think because these things contribute to stress and burnout, chronic disease risk, etc. All right, perceived susceptibility. So these are things, I went over a lot of these examples. These are other things that could be happening in the background of that you might not even consider. Just because you don't feel them doesn't mean they aren't a factor. So if you're stressed out, chronic stress, if you aren't managing your schedule or doing these health behaviors, then that's going to increase your stress and that can have a cascade of effects. Oxidative stress that can change your genetics, your epigenetic structures, and that can increase inflammation, long-term impact of today's damage. So you don't even know what you're doing today, how that's going to affect you in the future. That's why it makes more sense to do healthier choices now, so you have less risks because you don't need to add risk. Life's hard enough. Okay. Chronic pain disease is in here, and then heart attack or hospitalization. So these are things that can get increasingly urgent. But these are risk factors that can build up and accumulate quite literally if you don't take care of your health choices in terms of healthy eating and physical activity. So I've been through that. The question I have, though, for you, just be realistic with yourself. Do you need to change? And I want you to pause and think about this for a second. A lot of times when you come to these health decisions, or notions, you think like some celebrity looks good and you want to look better, or you have some outfit or some event, some graduation. I was talking with someone online today about their birthdays coming up in a month and they're trying to lose 22 pounds. And like they're, this is the question. Do you really have to change? Do you want to change? Do you need to change? If it's something that you need to do that's urgent, or if it's something that you feel like is important, then actually do it. And stop like feeling bad about things and not making a change, because that is probably the worst case scenario. And I know this is a place where tons of people get stuck is they set something that's unrealistic and then they start to think about making a change. And then something comes up, life challenges pop up, they don't prioritize it correctly, and then they don't make the change, and then they give up and they keep gaining weight. And then they like hate themselves, low confidence, like it's a problem. That's why I started Fit for Freelance. So I don't need to rant on it. So it's time to align your day to day with your major values. That's how I put it in the program. Build your lifestyle around your vision for the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams with the confidence to go after your health and business goals. So take action if you were tired of, things that don't work. Do something different. So these are some of the options I have for you. Want to be clear that there's a whole menu. Don't overwhelm yourself with all the things you could do. Just pick one thing. Access your worksite wellness/EAP. You can learn how to do some meal prep, cook a meal in advance with some leftovers, take a walking break during your next workday. You can take the burnout assessment test link below. You can schedule a free call with me, also link below. I'll walk you through some things. I'll see what's been working for you, what hasn't been working for you. We can see if we can work more. I can send you some links to my videos on YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel. Like, you got tons of things you can do by Sunday to really start taking ownership. And I would love for you to do that. Okay. And this is something you can start that burnout assessment tool that's linked below. There's my email if you need it too. So be clear, get action out of this. I really was driving this home because I was like, you guys need to do better. Instead of just coming to my sessions, like actually take actions here. So here we go. By Sunday, 7 p.m., what will you do? Leave a comment. Let me know. What will you start this week? How will you feel when you do it? So it's not just about setting it and thinking about it. Think about how you'll feel, the success that comes with taking that first step when you're in control, you're driving the car, of your health. You're taking confident ownership of that path. How will you feel? That's the first step in building confidence. And that's how you start to practice, build that confidence, know how to do the things that you want for yourself. And you can apply that energy and confidence and skill to other areas in your life, building adaptive business leaders through compassionate health coaching. So that's the presentation in a nutshell. Leave a comment below. Tell me what was most valuable for you. If you got any new insights from this presentation, I know it was like a feature length special here, but it's important information. I want to make sure you guys understand the process of vision, focus, and practice so you can actually take action and lead the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams. Or I wouldn't be here recording this stuff and going to these conferences and talking about it all the time. So make sure that you know why you're doing it and what's important for you. And that's the presentation. Make time for what matters, work-life fulfillment through prioritizing your needs. I'm always here to support. Get that burnout assessment tool down below. And then if you are on YouTube, you can check out next. Wondering if you need a health coach, what does a health coach do? I'll put that link up next to my head, probably on this right side. That's today's message. As always, keep practicing. Peace.